This is it. You'll be able to spot it in a crowd by virtue of its gold wheels, its gold chassis, its F1-style engine cover, and by the engine underneath it, which is now a 3-litre V8.
Now, the normal rules are, if you've got a big, heavy car and you want it to go fast, you have to put a big, powerful engine in it. If you've got a small, light car and you want it to go fast, you don't need to put such a big engine in it. So what happens if you take a very light car and put a very big engine in it?
Well, in my case, you look like a spaniel with its head out of the window.
Had 275 horsepower. This one has 500 horsepower, and it only weighs 550 kilograms.
Which means it has a power-to-weight figure of over 900 horsepower per tonne.
So in top gear mass, it's twice as powerful as a Bugatti Veyron or a Ferrari Enzo.
But the Atom is not just a rocket bolted to a roller skate. It's a bit more clever than that.
These little paddles, for example, will shift the sequential gears in 0.04 of a second, or so quickly that there's no appreciable drop in power to the rear wheels. And that helps it go from 0 to 60 in something like 2.5 seconds.
And now, let's bring all those numbers to life with a practical demonstration.
Here we have a small selection of supercars from around the world. From Japan, the Lexus LFA, £340,000, bristling with science. From Italy, the latest lightweight Lamborghini Gallardo, £180,000. Both of them with over 550 horsepower, and both of them packed with supercar technology and the pride of nations. So, let's see how they do against the Atom in a race. From 0 to 100 to 0.
And there we are.
Look how this cottage industry supercar mocks the conceit of empires. Ha ha!
However, since we're on this built-in-a-shed David versus big business Goliath theme, I have a confession to make on the Atom's behalf.
Now, the standard Atom with 275 horsepower costs £30,000. This one with 500 horsepower costs £150,000.
And even the seasoned Top Gear film crew were quite surprised by what you get for your 150 grand.
Is there a radio?
No.
Hands-free kit?
What? Hands-free? No. No.
Glove box?
No glove box.
Is it central locking?
No, there's no doors.
Where's the spare wheel?
I don't think there is a spare wheel. There's no boot. Huh?
Cup holder?
Nope, no cup holder.
Cruise control?
Nope.
Somewhere to put your sunglasses?
No.
Your iPhone, that plugs in, surely?
Nope.
Tow bar?
No.
The fact is, with this car you're paying for super geek levels of engineering. The bespoke engine and gearbox alone cost £50,000. And then you've got the magnesium wheels and the onboard computers that set the car up for individual owners. Also, the Atom V8 had a difficult and costly birth.
Early attempts at the V8 were absolutely brutal. They were only really fit for track day bores who wanted to drone on in the pub about how they'd driven something that was undrivable. So they went back to the drawing board and then they got this. Not that, this.
A hardcore car with a heart of pure gold.
Love the steering in this thing. It's fantastically immediate. I'm just thinking my way through bends, really. It's as crisp as a bag of crisps.
In fact, driving the V8 Atom is one of the great motoring experiences of my life, which is an excellent thought on which to end this film.
Unfortunately, it isn't the end. In fact, things get a bit tricky for me now, because when Jeremy tested the original Atom several years ago, he had a race round the track against a fast motorcycle. And the producers enjoyed this so much, they've ordered me to do the same thing again.
The thing is, since this Atom is considerably faster than the old one, it'll be up against a considerably faster bike. The BMW S1000 RR, the world's most powerful road bike.
And whereas Jeremy raced against a normal road-going motorcycle enthusiast, I won't be.
No, I'll be against British Evo Superbike champion Steve Brogan.
Now, I thought this was unfair, and I protested. I said the Atom should also be driven by a proper racing driver, but the producers said no, it must be a Top Gear presenter. So, here we go. Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry. Anyway, undo that strap, stick it on your head. Nice.
He's going past. We've got roughly the same power to weight ratio. This is going to be about corners. Got a better drive out of the corner than me there, but I think I'm catching him again. Round Chicago. Give it a good beating down to the hammerhead. Here we go. Hard on the brakes. Turning in. Can't get his power down in the corners like I can. Down to the follow through, flat out. Gonna keep it right. More power. I'm gaining. Into the second to the last corner. Here we go for the last corner. Don't muck it up. And across the line.
Cheers, Tiff.
Oh, no problem, James. Anytime you want me.
Thanks.
Do you want this shirt back?
Yes, please. Pretty sure you don't want it.
No, you're right.
First, I had to fly to Los Angeles, which, as we know from the song, is a great big freeway. That makes it the perfect place to test the most important car since the car was invented. Here it is. It's called the FCX Clarity, and I'm afraid it's a four-door Honda.
But if Raymond Baxter, God rest him, were here with us today, he'd be wearing a perfectly cut suit and he'd be saying that this is the future of motoring.
And that's certainly not because of the way it looks, because it looks just like a car. There's more normality too.
It doesn't drive itself, it doesn't levitate. This is remarkably like driving around in a Honda.
What the Clarity is an electric car, but it's nothing like the Tesla that Jeremy drove earlier. In fact, it's nothing like any electric car we've ever seen before.
The front wheels are driven by a perfectly normal electric motor, but there are no batteries. Instead, this car has its own on-board electricity generating station, and that takes the form of a hydrogen fuel cell.
And now, viewers, you better brace yourselves. Either that or turn over to the soft porn and Nazi sharks on Channel 5, because I'm about to explain all this.
At the back of the car is a fuel tank, exactly where you'd expect it to be. But instead of filling it with petrol or diesel, it is filled with compressed hydrogen. Now, this hydrogen is combined with oxygen from the air in the fuel cell. And in a rather complicated and boring way, that makes electricity. That electricity is then used to drive the electric motor, which turns the front wheel, like it might do in a perfectly normal front-wheel drive car. And the whole process is controlled by... The whole process is controlled by a box of electronics under the bonnet where the engine would normally be. And that really is all there is to it.
It's the fuel cell and the hydrogen tank that goes with it that puts the Clarity in a different league to every other electric car.
So far, most electric cars have been appalling little plastic snot boxes that take all night to recharge and then take half a minute to reach their maximum speed of 40 and then run out of juice miles from anywhere. Prius, sucker.
But when the Clarity runs out of juice, you just pull into a hydrogen filling station.
The hydrogen is compressed into a liquid, so it's a bit like petrol. You fill it just like a petrol car. And the only difference is, because this is under pressure, you have to lock it with this lever. Terribly important that. If you don't do that, you get hydrogen all over your shoes.
In America, hydrogen costs roughly the same as petrol. But unlike petrol, it'll never run out because it's the most abundant element in the universe.
That whole process has taken somewhere between 2 and 3 minutes and has given me another 270 miles of driving.
And there's another bonus with hydrogen.
The only emission from this car is water, because that's what you get when you mix H and O. H2O, water.
Of course, I'm not going to pretend that a four-door saloon is as much fun to drive as that Tesla. But that said, the Clarity isn't bad. I mean, it develops 136 horsepower.
So this is an electric car that will do 100 miles an hour and 0 to 60 in just over 9 seconds, which is right on the money for a family car. Listen, this, we're belting through the mountains, accompanied by a little woo sound. Whoa, this is making my blue ball go all orange. I should probably explain that. You see, on the dash, there is this little blue circular symbol which grows the more vigorously I drive. The bigger it is, the more hydrogen I'm using. And if I really put the hammer down like this, it turns orange.
At the moment, the Clarity is only available in California. So I decided to ask an ordinary Californian motorist what he thought of it. Mind you, this chap does seem to like his cars. He's American talk show host Jay Leno.
It's my favorite ad. If you notice, the car is skidding off the road in their own ad. That's how bad handling a car it was.
I'm trying to come up with a bit of a setup like this next to my house, albeit quite a bit smaller.
It turns out that Jay, like me, is a fan of the Clarity. Not just because it's clever, but because it might just be the saviour of all the amazing gas guzzlers in here.
Car enthusiasts that think, oh, this is going to be awful. No, it won't. It'll save the petrol. It'll save your MG or your Sprite or your Midget, whatever you have. And you go out on the weekend, you have fun, and then you put this in the car park during the week. Much like the automobile was the savior of the horse. You know, in the cities, at least in America, horses would be whipped and they'd drop dead. And then when the car came along, it freed up the horse to be used for recreational purposes and just the beauty of the animal, whatever you want to call it. And I think these type of cars would be the savior of our sports cars, our MGs, Porsches, things like that.
You know how the Toyota Prius is the sort of darling of Hollywood? It's a fashion statement.
But you know why, BC? Because it has the moral superiority. With the Prius, you can go, look, I am driving an unattractive car because I am saving the planet. See, in America, we like everyone to know about the good work we're doing anonymously.
I'm absolutely convinced that the Clarity is the most important car for 100 years. And there's a very good reason for that.
One day we will, sadly, run out of oil, and then we'll need something else. Now, electric cars have always seemed very promising, but as long as they're powered by batteries, they don't quite cut it. I mean, think of all the people down there driving around. We've built our lives around the car as we know it. You get in, you drive as far as you want to go, you fill up, you drive some more. That is the freedom that a petrol-powered car gives you. If its replacement is something that goes for 10 yards and then takes 4 hours to bring back to life, we'll have gone backwards.
The Clarity, though, is different. It fits the life we already have. And the reason it's the car of the future is because it's just like the car of today. And here it is, the Continental GT Speed.
Now, this isn't to be confused with the previous Bentley Continental GT Speed, or the Bentley Continental GT Super Sports, or in fact any other Bentley Continental that looks exactly the same as this one.
No, this one is a bit special.
What this is the fastest Bentley ever built, because it will do 205 miles an hour.
It will also go from 0 to 60 in just 4 seconds. And to deliver that kind of performance, the standard issue 6-litre twin-turbo engine has been stoked to produce 616 horsepower.
And to ensure that all that power is delivered in an orderly fashion, this car has been fitted with a new 8-speed automatic gearbox.
To help it stand out next to a regular Continental GT, the Speed has been given a few signature flourishes, such as this black mesh radiator grille, these rifled exhausts, and inside a gorgeous dark tinted aluminium fascia. It costs just over £150,000, and at this point you might be thinking, so what? Why do we need another fast Bentley anyway? I thought exactly the same, until I drove it.
Up until now, every Continental GT has been, to my mind, just a sort of big posh car built to the numbers, built to an EC directive, if you like. But this car finally feels, I think, like a Bentley should. It's not the magnitude of the power that's important, it's the way it's turned into speed. You sort of get a discreet ahem from the butler, and then this big aristocratic whoomp in the kidneys. And the ride in a Bentley, I think, should be reasonably firm, but forgiving, supple. And that's exactly what you get here. You feel very much in control. You can read the road through the wheels and through the steering wheel, but it doesn't batter you in any way.
Likewise, that new 8-speed gearbox is an absolute peach.
It's also intelligent. It will skip gears. It'll go from 4th to 8th, if that's what's required.
The Continental has been around for 10 years now, and what this version feels like is a decade of engineering coming together to make something rather special. So to find out how good it really is, we decided to take it somewhere more demanding than a Welsh B-road. So, since it's got 4-wheel drive, yes, we're going to unleash our £150,000 Bentley on a full-blown stage of the World Rally Championship. Specifically here, on a 15-mile stage of the grueling Welsh Rally. This is Top Gear consumer journalism. I've never driven a rally stage, and I'm not going to now. I'm giving the job to rally ace Chris Meek, who you may remember from our race between a rally car and Olympic gold medal Skelly Bob pilot Amy Williams. On that occasion, my job was to sit next to him and not look scared. Today, though, I would have to give Chris directions, which meant getting to grips with the mystifying world of pace notes.
Basically, the number before the R is the right.
Right.
The number is the severity of the bend. A 1 is a slight bend and a 6 is a real hard bend, so the numbers are graded 1 through to 6. The numbers between the corners is the distance. So your 40 is 40 metres. The C that you were calling is a crest, and the arrow is into, so that would be crest into 1 right over crest.
And how do I do this and look out of the window at the same time, or do I?
You don't look out. You have to feel the corners through your backside. So your brain needs to be 200 or 300 metres ahead of my driving.
If it goes wrong and we have a crash, who says sorry first?
First thing I'll do is check your pulse to see if you're still living, and then I'll ask you to apologise.
Besides the complexity of the pace notes, there was another worry. A World Rally car is purpose-built for the job. It weighs just 1,200 kilograms and has bespoke brakes to help it stop. Its gearbox is made to soak up the punishment. Its roll cage is designed to keep the occupants in one piece. By contrast, all we'd changed on our 2.3-ton Bentley was the seats.
Seats are good. I think that's good thinking, but most of the other things about this car are bad, aren't they, for rallying?
Yeah.
Too big.
A Bentley on a rally stage is a stupid idea. It's got all the horsepower you need to get it up to speed, but we're trying to stop 2.3 tons on road tyres, so we don't have the grip either.
And you haven't got the handbrake.
No.
Because you've got the electric handbrake, which is no good for...
No, it's not, but we'll just have to do a little man manoeuvring around the hairpins.
Are you a bit scared about driving this on a rally course?
I am a little bit. You should be even more scared.
And on those final words of comfort, we took our place on the start line.
You see that bloke's moustache there?
Yeah.
That tells me everything's going to be all right.
So if you count me down, if you do a 5.
Yep. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're off. 4 right, 40.
You need a bit quicker, James, come on.
40 metres, 4 right.
Suddenly, I knew what it felt like to be a rabbit caught in the headlights.
Yeah, next, James, come
left, on. Left, plus 2 left.
James, I've got to go off the road, you don't call the notes.
1 right.
1 right. Repeat, repeat.
3 right, and then 40 metres. 5 right into 6 left, then 40 metres. Into 5 right.
This is a 5, you're too late, James, come on.
Right, square right. Sorry, square left.
Whoa! James, either get it right or shut up.
The red mist had descended on Chris. A fog of doubt had enveloped me, but it seemed he wasn't going to back off.
Next note, next note.
Start 1 right. Whoa, bloody hell. 4 right.
On the plus side, the Bentley's 4-wheel drive was superb. The power, phenomenal. And Chris was majestic.
Whoa! Whoa!
Especially in the tight bends where the Bentley's electric parking brake was useless.
Going into large hairpin right. That's where you needed the handbrake?
Yeah.
10 miles in, and I was giving Chris proper backup.
5 right, tightening to severe 6 right.
Okay. That's a bit better, James.
Through water. 40, 4 left.
Got it.
Tightening.
Finish, James.
2 left, tightening. Man in road.
Okay.
2 left over a crest. Jesus.
Finland. According to a study by Leicester University, the 6th happiest country in the world. Finns also top the world league table for coffee drinking, and they borrow more library books per head than any nation on earth. Which is all very interesting, but it doesn't explain this. There's a popular saying in motorsport: if you want to win, employ a Finn. This sparsely populated country has produced more rally champions, 7 in total, than any other nation. It has also produced more F1 world champions per head than anywhere else. So, what's going on up there? One of the reasons for Finnish driving prowess must be, quite simply, they take driving very, very seriously, right from day one. This is Petka. He's not a hoodie in a stolen car, he's having a driving lesson. And like everyone else in Finland, he has to spend 6 of them on a skid pan. He will also have lessons driving in the dark, and it will be 3 years before he gets a full license. It's all very strict.
And it needs to be honest, because this is a typical Finnish back road. It's full of sudden crests and hidden dips. So as you drive along it, you need to know about power on, power off, feeling the car go light and the grip disappear. You're going to become a racing driver.
So, to find out how the Finns wrap all this up into one big bundle of skill, I went for a drive with one of the locals. Unfortunately, the only person I could find was a retired bloke. Mind you, he's still quite sprightly.
It's Häkkinen. He's going through the left-hander.
Mika Häkkinen won the F1 World Championship twice, on both occasions beating the most successful driver of all time.
Michael Schumacher said that you were the only driver he really feared. So where did you learn car control? Because they say the Finns, you know, they have an instinct for it that other nations on earth don't have. You can just do it.
We start doing this sport very, very young, so automatically we learn to car control. I'll give you an example. If you put a British person learning to play cricket when he's 25 years old, it is too late to understand the name of the game.
Are you thinking through these corners, or do you just feel it and you know?
No, honestly, what's going on now? We are going really, really slowly.
Are we?
Yeah.
Sitting next to Mika, you get a fantastic demonstration of Finnish car control. But if I was to learn more, I couldn't just be a passenger.
Tomorrow, in the interests of science, though probably more for your entertainment, I suspect, the office has entered me in an amateur race on a rally circuit. Thankfully, though, Mika has offered to train me up.
There's something else about Mika. He's not just helpful, he's quite modest.
So I'm not very good in travel. Wow. Last year I went out with Jackie Stewart and he won the World Championship 3 times, I think, instead of just 2. Wow. But he taught me to be quite smooth and fast on a tarmac circuit. But could you teach me to be Finnish fast on a loose surface, do you think?
I can indeed.
The first and most important thing Mika would teach me was a cornering move known as the Scandinavian Flick. And because he didn't want his mate's rally car wrapped around a tree, we started off with some cones.
When we come with the car, how to twist the back end to touching all these cones to find the perfect slide. Okay, this is how we get the back end around.
Then it was my turn.
Little left, little right, on the gas, get the back end loose.
That's not enough, is it? Sorry.
Again, action! Better than first run.
And then, finally...
You did it! You did it! That's the finish way.
After we'd demolished all his cones, I took Mika out on the proper course, which he found relaxing.
So now, second turn in, a bit of a flick. That wasn't bad. Oh! Sorry, I forgot which way to go there. Okay, first.
But then, with Yoda's guidance...
Now back end out nicely here. Stay on the gas. Yeah, good. Beautiful.
It all came together.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Lesson over, we stopped for a cup of hot reindeer blood and talked about why the Finns are so suited to motorsport.
Tell me a bit about sisu. What's sisu?
Sisu in English means courage. What is the Finnish courage? Let me give you an example. Okay, climb in a tree and jump down from there. So that doesn't mean sisu. That is the courage.
That's stupidity.
That is exactly. So sisu we can relate very much that in the motor racing. Example, you drive rally car in a forest extremely really fast, and you need courage to able to brake late, to go throttle really early, go very close to the apex of the corners.
And they're quite reserved, the Finns. I mean, you famously, when you were a Formula One driver, they'd ask you a really complicated question and you'd just say, yes.
Yes.
That's right,
Yes.
is it? And the reason I'm asking is because I wondered if I might be, in some way, a bit Finnish myself. I don't like noisy people. So does that make me Finnish, do you think?
Yes.
At home, I quite like to have the spanners in my toolbox in order of size, so that I can always find the right one. Is that quite Finnish?
Yes, it is, very much. Personally, that's what I do. If you're talking about the toolbox, everything has to be very organized.
I quite like to have the air vents on my car all pointing the same way. Exactly. Is that Finnish?
No.
The next day, it was time for me to mix it with the Finns. I'd been entered in one of their folk races, which are run on part tarmac, part gravel, and take place every weekend all over Finland. The Finns had kindly sorted me out with a typical folk racing car, a 1967 Volvo Amazon.
Now, in actual fact, it has 200 horsepower, but in every other respect, it's scrap. But there's a very good reason for this. You see, there's a clever rule in folk racing. All the cars in the race are given a nominal and equal value. Let's say it's €1,000. Then at the end of the race, you can go to any other competitor and say, I want to buy your car. And he or she has to sell it to you. It stops people spending too much money, getting sponsorship, and generally taking it too seriously.
It also means that the cars stay equal and the racing stays close, which in turn sharpens the skills. But frankly, when the other drivers arrived, I stopped worrying about their skills.
The bloke over there is about 85.
And alongside him, the grid featured some housewives, a child, a teenager, and Bill Oddie.
Surely this can't be that difficult. That girl next to me should be doing her maths homework. Here we go.
By the time we hit the first corner, it was obvious that these were no ordinary pensioners, children, housewives and bill-oddies.
Ow! After you, Grandad. Have a Scandinavian Flick, Finnish person. Damn, I've lost it.
I'd forgotten what Mika had said, that these guys start doing this as soon as they can see over the wheel.
I'm getting mullered.
I started to fight back.
I've passed the BMW. That was an overtake on a Finnish person. She's only 12, but that's not the point.
But the 12-year-old wasn't having it.
Oi!
Now, normally I'd have been happy to stay there in the nice comfy ditch, but that's not what Mika would have wanted. It was time to summon up some sisu.
I'm going to have the Volvo. Opportunity for overtaking.
Using Mika's training, I overtook a housewife.
Chance for glory.
And then Grandad. But Bill-Oddy was too much for me. And in the end, I finished somewhere near the middle.
I think all my top-level Finnish motorsport training has made me exactly average.
But that was average in Finland. Anywhere else, I might have been brilliant.
James, you haven't really contributed much to the sort of blingness of this whole programme, have you, really?
No, but I can do.
Right. This should be good.
Right, all right. Now, you know there's a new Thunderbirds film out, yes?
Yes.
And surely the mother of all bling was Lady Penelope. Now, she was white and she had no rhythm, but that's because she was a puppet. What she did have was a really massive pink car with 6 wheels. It was a futuristic Rolls-Royce called Fab 1, and it was only a model, so turning it round was easy.
But for the new Thunderbirds film, there's a new Fab 1, and this time, manoeuvring it isn't going to be quite so easy.
From nose to tail, it's 27 feet long. That's the height of a 3-story building.
Not only is this not a model, it's not even a Rolls-Royce. They were asked to design a car, but they were far too busy working on the new Phantom. So this is a Ford.
So it lacks absolute snob appeal, but it more than makes up for that in other ways.
That is the best combined roof and door opening action I've ever seen. Inside, there's room for just 2 people. Her ladyship reclines back here. Her faithful chauffeur, Parker, sits here. But the interior is fantastic. There's lashings of cream leather and chrome. And my favourite bit, some real shag pile. But the fixtures and fittings aren't the thing I like most about this car. What I really like is that it works.
Let's face it, Lady Penelope and Parker, they were the original blinksters. They were like the sort of J-Lo and Puff Diddley, but of the puppet world.
I'm not sure I really understand bling, but I think this must be it. I mean, it's got 24-inch rims and blacked-out glass. It's wicked.
It is completely road legal. It even has a tax disc look. So I'm going to take it off around Northamptonshire and solve some international crisis in the East Midlands.
This is Thunderbird, so there are a few strings attached. This may be road legal, but it isn't driver friendly.
I think I'm going to go left.
steering it is like helming a Spanish galleon. And there's another problem. Remember, this thing is 27 feet long, and that, strangely, is the length of the average British village. So the two don't mix very well.
Right, mini roundabout. Thunderbirds are go. Whoa! Sorry, madam. I've just discovered that there are no mirrors on this thing, and here comes the local builder. Sorry, mate. That's just not going to go through there. I've stopped on a zebra crossing. Yeah, sorry, I forgot how long it was. I don't remember Parker having to apologise this much. He just used to say, yes, my lady, all the time. Sorry. Yes, sir. Well, your car's not exactly manly either, is it? Look at it. We have successfully driven through Nebworth. I don't think anybody noticed.
It may be top bling, but Fab 1 is largely useless on anything but wide, straight roads. So if you were Lady Penelope, there's only one place in Britain you could live. Oh dear.
So, I ask you, is I bling?
Meet the Austin Healey Sport Club. They like tweeds and beards and beer with soil floating in it. And they think car design peaked in, about 1968.
Meet Absy and his crew. They like hoodies and trainers and Argos jewellery. And they think the ideal number of speakers in a car is about 68.
These two groups are the chalks and the cheeses in the world of the differing car cultures. And we've brought them together to settle an argument.
You see, I think this modern obsession with horsepower is absolutely idiotic. A simple, light, well-sorted classic will be more than a match for some youth car with 5,000 horsepower and a big stereo.
Yes, and I think the opposite.
So the only way to settle this is with a duel, and that duel will take place here, at the famous Prescott Hill Climb course in Gloucestershire. It's one of the most prestigious tracks in Britain, the motor racing equivalent of Vera Lynn.
And here comes my car now.
I'm sort of guessing that's not your kind of thing.
No, not at all.
What colour is that? National Health Service green, I suspect.
If we had a heavy snow, it would be good for clearing that, wouldn't it?
Well, you can mock Beard Brigade, but this Peugeot 306 is one of the finest modified cars in the country, with over £26,000 worth of mods, including 3 TVs, a PlayStation, and over 54 inches of subs.
And now, representing a time when subs were something we used to fight the Germans, behold the majesty of the Austin Healey, which has stalled.
This is a 1961 Frog Eye Sprite.
That's what you got to be.
Marvellous.
Does it go any lower than that, or is that it?
No, it's the suspension doesn't move, it's fixed.
Ah, okay.
It's kind of exactly old-fashioned.
In this battle of arthritis against acne, it's Hammond's group who have the power advantage.
That's a 3 litre V6 at roughly about 200 brake.
That's probably about 5 times what he's got over there.
Possibly.
But what do you reckon 0 to 60 time would be?
About 6.2, I reckon.
Oh, that's all right. In fact, you've probably got a more powerful stereo than he has car.
By contrast, the geriatric Healey sports a modest 130 horsepower, almost 100 less than the Peugeot.
What about the top speed?
Well, again, the gearing would probably bring that down to about 95.
That's not so good, to be honest.
And the classic car boys were worried about the fearsome brakes on the max power car. Still, we didn't win 2 world wars by standing around moaning. So, some serious fettling began to make the Healey lighter and more agile.
Marvellous.
Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, over at the youth centre, things weren't so hectic.
You've got 4 screen. This is the best bit.
It's a colour camera as well. Now, this isn't necessarily going to help us go faster.
Not really. Both cars were ready for their timed runs up the hill. We just needed an independent driver.
Someone who follows no car culture, who has no age, who has no friends to text and no real L preference.
Not a completely convincing start, do you mind me saying that?
Sounds good, though.
Sounds great.
Sure enough, it was quick on the straights, but this mobile Halfords paid the price on the corners.
It's sort of a bit James Bond film, isn't it?
That was enough to worry the Healy chaps.
So, you're going to wind yours up and give it a shot, then?
Yeah, that's a good time, but it's not unbeatable.
So, the gauntlet thrown down for the Antique Roadshow.
That weight makes it... It really did leap away.
Yes, this isn't the coolest the Stig has ever looked, but in the Healy, he was in good shape through the corners.
Oh, getting close.
The Healy blitzed the last two turns, but would it beat 59.26? Yes, the Beards had won it by a whisker.
Age, experience, tweed and a little bit of facial hair is what it takes to win at hill climbing.
Right, I know which one I'd rather go home in, the one with a roof and a windscreen.
Yes, it's the Caravan.
Now, as regular viewers of Dave will know, we have, over the last 24 hours, done our very best to rid the world of the Caravan menace. I think there's one more, actually.
That is, I think you'll agree, sterling work in our battle to free the roads of these mobile traffic jams.
Sadly, it's a battle we're losing. There are now almost 500,000 caravans on UK roads, and the British are the most prolific caravanning nation in Europe, a title we've held for almost 4 years, according to the Caravan Council.
In short, they're building them faster than we can destroy them. So we need a scientific approach to getting them off the roads, and I may have found it.
witnessing here, viewers, is the maiden voyage of the world's first caravan airship, and I believe this is the solution to all our problems. There are only two ways to go caravanning. You can have your 2-litre diesel, tow your caravan, obscure the view of all the people you're annoying, or you can bring it up here. Everybody wins. Driving is more fun, caravanning is more exciting.
However, as with all cutting-edge engineering projects, there are teething problems.
Normally, you drive along with your caravan and your car, and when you get to your caravan site, you have a car to use. Now, I don't, of course, so I need somebody to take the car to the caravan site for me. And for that, I'm calling on my old caravan-destroying mate,
Mr. Richard Hammond.
Yes, and because it doesn't have to lug the caravan around, it can be a nice car.
This car will never ever hitch itself to a swift rapide. It's a Lamborghini, probably the least caravanish car company ever. And this is their new Gallardo Balboni.
It's a tribute to Valentino Balboni, Lamborghini's most famous test driver.
Now, although he wore a cardigan to work, he was a mentalist. And as a tribute to his mentalness, this particular Gallardo is the most mental Lambo there's been for a while. But more of that later, because first, I shall ring James and offer him some encouragement.
Hammond, May.
Hello! That thing is going to crash and burn and explode, and you'll be scattered in a million pieces across the English countryside.
Oh, don't be so defeatist. Anyway, listen, I've got an address for you. It's Hunter's Moon Caravan Club, which is just outside Wareham in Dorset. I've made the booking, they're expecting an airship, and I'll take you for lunch by the river.
Right, see you in a bit. Caravanning in a Lamborghini. I think you might actually be onto something here.
Well, let me tell you a bit about the Caravan airship. It's 125 feet long, 110,000 cubic feet of hot air holding it up. And it's a very, very ingenious solution because all the Caravan attachments are still here. Instruments flip up out of the table. The gas burners go where the cooker would be and can be used for cooking. The beds fit where I'm sitting here. It is still a Caravan, it's just a flying Caravan. You float in the infinite blue. It's superb.
Meanwhile, on the ground, this was turning into the best drive to a caravan site ever.
According to Top Gear research, 37% of caravanners enjoy wife swapping. Well, think what's going to happen when the keys to this baby come out of the pot. Oh, yeah. Now, as I was saying, because this is a tribute to their looniest test driver, Lambo have ditched the usual four-wheel drive for a Gallardo and gone back to the old hairy-chested rear-wheel drive. That makes it 120 kilograms lighter. Ordinary steel brakes instead of carbon ceramic fancy ones. It's Lamborghini's punk album. Oh, hello. You're alive!
How are you?
I'm very well. How's it going?
Pretty good. Slight issue on the horizon, though.
What?
It's not the fastest aircraft in the world.
How not quick is it?
Well, top speed's about 17.
70 miles an hour is not bad. In a straight line.
No, mate. No. 17 miles an hour.
Oh, God.
But look, I think Dorset might be a bit fast, so I've got a new address for you. You ready?
What, another address?
Dale Acres Caravan Club site. That's in Kent.
Kent? Probably not my first choice of caravanning destination.
I know, but it's not miles from here, mate. I'll buy you an ice cream.
I'll see you there. Right, campsite number 2. Here we come.
It's now time for a spot of airborne loads. This is unquestionably the most powerful cooker ever fitted to a two-bird Caravan. It's very well cooked on one side.
Okay, another B road through another village. Somewhere. It's all part of the adventure of caravanning. Back to the Balboni. The thing is, the basicness just makes it better to drive. The steering feels so much quicker because there's no four-wheel drive in the way. And this gear change, the manual box, it just feels... It's like shaking hands with an old friend. The only thing that isn't basic is price. Because weirdly, this stripped-out, strictly functional Gallardo costs £163,000, which is 18 grand dearer than the ordinary four-wheel drive one. So maybe less really is more.
The Balboni propelled me towards our campsite in Kent. And then James rang again.
Hello?
Hello?
Are you ringing from the grave?
No, not at all. It's going marvellously up here, mate. You'd love it. There is one slight hitch, though.
All right, what's up now?
The performance is slightly marginal. If I get a headwind of more than 30 knots, I start to go backwards, really.
What, you can't go into a wind more than 13 knots?
No.
What's the wind speed now?
Well, it was 12.
So what you're telling me is you've just been blown around Britain?
It takes too long to get down to Kent, so I'm going to turn around and go the other way, up to Suffolk.
Right.
Anyway, listen, I've got an address for you.
Why didn't you just ring up and book us into every caravan site in Britain before we left?
Stop nitpicking, will you?
What a Norbert. If this airship caravanning scheme of his catches on, what we'll have is the skies full of airships crashing into each other whenever the wind gets up, and then the roads full of cars crashing into each other because they have to keep turning round. OK, campsite number 3.
With the wind behind me, I headed for our new destination.
Good morning, Caravan Club. Chris speaking. How can I help?
Oh, hi. I was wondering if there were any pitches available at the White House Beach Club this afternoon, please.
What's your surname?
May, M-A-Y. Could I just ask if you have facilities for people arriving by airship?
By airship? Right, okay. Are you actually a member of the Caravan Club?
Here I am in the village of here, this village, and it's somewhere I would never have seen. Okay, that's a really, really big tower over there. That's clearly just a danger to caravans, isn't it? I mean, look at it. Must remember to tell James about that.
As it turned out, at that moment, James had more than a tower to worry about.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. Norwich Golf, Papa Golf, I am about to enter your airspace.
Golf Tango Oscar, Papa Golf, Norwich. You are entering an area of intense aerial activity at the moment. It is imperative that you remain clear, well clear.
Norwich Golf, Papa Golf, sorry, cannot comply, have no control over airship owing to wind conditions.
Tango Oscar, Papa Golf, remain well clear.
Norwich cannot comply.
Papa Golf, you have traffic left, 11 o'clock, range of half a mile, fast moving, similar left.
Roger, have visual Golf, Papa Golf.
Golf, Papa Golf, further traffic in your right, 3 o'clock, right left.
Cock.
BBC Radio 1 News Beat.
Right, that's the news report. No news of a massive fireball burning over Northamptonshire or of people in the streets being hit by pieces of long burning hair and bad jumper. Anyway, I'm probably being pessimistic. Sure, it's going very well.
No! Stay where you are, man! Golf, Papa Golf, I'm heading very close to the KLM City Hopper. Can you advise him, please, not to start up or take off?
Papa Golf, Norwich, the police helicopter will shortly be approaching.
Golf, Papa Golf, police helicopter really not necessary. I will attempt to clear your zone at this altitude. Golf, Papa Golf. Please don't call the police.
Norfolk Police helicopter, Oscar India 99 to Golf Tango Oscar Papa Golf, receiving over.
Roger, Golf, Papa Golf. Cock.
Yeah, Oscar India 99, not really aware of your intentions, but you've strayed into the controlled airspace of Norwich Airport.
I may be about to get a colossal aviation bollocking.
Suffolk, popular holiday destination. Just a few miles away now. James will have landed, set the van up, organised our little home from home, probably got the kettle on.
With the wrath of the sky cops still ringing in my ears, finally I reached a caravan site. I didn't know if it was the one I'd booked into, but it'd do.
Here we go, for a landing you won't even notice. This is a lovely approach over the trees. Just a matter of arresting descent with little bursts of gas. What I'm actually doing here is helping to realise a dream that was held by many great men. People who envisaged the elegance and the majesty of lighter-than-air flight. Count Zeppelin, Neville Shute, Barnes Wallis, this is for them. There's a bit of drift, a bit of drifting. Oh God, cocking Nora, this is difficult. Gas, gas. It's going down. No! Keep it upright.
I may be going sideways slightly.
Mayday!
No!
Oh, bloody hell, stop! Stop! Stop!
It's very hard to drive across Iceland at the best of times. But luckily, I had just the vehicle for the job.
This looks exactly like the Toyota that Jeremy and I drove to the North Pole. More to the point, this has been to the North Pole with us, but you never saw it and it never got any of the glory because it was the one driven by the camera crew.
After we got back from the pole, our car went off to a museum, whereas this one was just left to rot. Today, though, I'm going to bring it back to life and give it one more mission.
Wow, I never actually thought I'd be so pleased to see one of these again. This really brings it all back. The ice going on forever. The boulder field going on and on forever. I can hear Jeremy going on and on forever. Oh, God.
No matter, my job is to turn this into the world's first volcano-proof car, which means a visit to Emil, the 4x4 genius who built it in the first place.
I mean, what are the unique risks to volcano driving, apart from obviously being consumed by molten lava and burnt to a crisp?
It depends on how close you want to get.
Very close. As far as I can work out, no one's ever actually driven right up to the mouth of an active volcano in a car, so it's another Top Gear first if we can do it.
Yeah.
Some people claim you can walk on hot coals if you wet the bottom of your feet.
Mm-hmm.
I was just wondering, if there was some system of continuously wetting the tyres, would it be possible to drive across the hot lava?
If you don't fall through, possibly, yeah, if you drive fast.
Emil didn't look very confident, but we set to work anyway. And by the next morning, the Volcano Buster was ready.
I know I look a bit like a petty thief on my way home from some corrugated roof robbery at the allotments, but there's a very good reason for all this. The lava occasionally goes over an area of water, and that causes an explosion, throwing bits of lava and rock up into the air. So that's there to stop those lumps coming down and breaking the windscreen, or my head. We have also fitted our new and pioneering tyre cooling system. There's an oil drum on the back full of water, and pipes feed the water to the tyres. Now obviously there's a risk of it freezing, and we can't put antifreeze in the water because that pollutes the glacier, so we've added a dash of vodka.
As I drove onto the glacier, I stopped to hook up with a volcanologist who couldn't get to the volcano because of the weather.
And it is fantastically windy. I've never seen or felt a wind like it.
Because of this storm that has been raging for the last few days, we haven't really been able to visit the area to see what's going on there.
So at the moment, with this weather and this whiteout, really nobody knows what's happening up there.
Exactly.
We'll be the first to find out.
Nobody can see it.
As night fell, the storm became worse. It was so bad that by morning it had taken the lives of 2 locals.
This is what we're seeing, or what we're not seeing, I should say.
Visibility is probably less than 10 meters.
We reckoned that as long as we could follow the car carrying Emil and the camera crew, we'd be okay.
There he is. Yeah, there he is.
But we weren't.
Oh, I've lost the tail lights.
Wow, that is dark.
Soon we were completely lost.
Can you see any red lights?
I don't see anything.
Right. We are now effectively driving on instruments. Outside the window is it is a complete sheet of white. There's a blizzard going. The windscreen itself is freezing up. The windscreen wipers have frozen up. It's quite unnerving.
Eventually, I had to get out to unjam the wipers.
Oh. Hang on to it. Oh yeah, it's blinding. Look at that. Good job.
God, I've never known anything like that. I hadn't realised how strong that was being in here. I could hardly stand up.
We ploughed onwards until, at last, salvation.
Lights! Look, lights! There they are!
Thank God.
Eventually, the storm cleared and we arrived at our overnight stop, where we were greeted by a spectacular sight.
Wow, look at that!
Beautiful.
How far away is that?
About 1.5 kilometers.
I can hear it as well.
Yeah. It's like cannon fire.
That's fantastic.
Whoa! The next morning, still with no idea how big this eruption would become, I dropped off the professor.
Thanks for a ride.
And headed on alone until at last I got my first close-up look at the volcano. God in heaven, look at that. Lava was spewing out at a temperature of 1200 degrees centigrade, and right in front of my eyes, a brand new part of the world was being created. It was now my job to test our volcano car by driving up to the crater and scooping up a fresh piece of landscape as a souvenir.
And to help me with that, they've given me a garden trowel on an extending pole held on with sticky tape and a bucket. And of course I have my corrugated roof, and I am in the best off-road vehicle I've ever driven. So, piece of cake really, here we go. Does look quite angry. Oh God, look at that.
Even though I was driving on lava that had fallen days ago, it was still red hot, and the Top Gear vodka tyre cooling system was working overtime.
Right, what I need is for a piece to land quite near me, and then I can reach out of the window and grab it.
Bravely, I decided that was far enough.
Oh my word. I don't know if you can see this as well as I can, but it's raining red hot lumps. It's quite... God, that's hot.
It was time to break out the lava scoop. Whoa, bloody hell. Look at the size of that. A piece of that would do nicely.
Woo! Yes, yes. Still glowing slightly. Yay! God, that's hot. Whoa! Oh, that's getting a bit frisky.
In the excitement of bagging a souvenir, I'd stayed still for too long.
They're on fire. Right, I'm off.
With the tyres steaming, I beat a retreat from the volcano, clutching my brand new piece of planet Earth.
I claim you for Queen Elizabeth and Top Gear.
And best of all, the unsung hero finally got the recognition it deserves.
This is a quarry, and here, painted on the floor of the quarry, is a very big dartboard.
Up here on this cliff, we have 6 used cars, which, if you squint, could look a bit like darts. So, dartboard, cars. I think you can see where this is going.
We're going to take it in turns to throw our darts at the dartboard. 3 darts each, the highest score wins. Probably a speedboat or something.
Now, because these cars weigh a little bit more than the average pub arrows, we'll need this. Our mega powerful James Bond cannon.
It works using nitrogen, compressed at about 1,400 psi. It comes out of the end of the cannon and it'll power the car forwards with a thrust of about 20 tons. Now, the important thing to know is this. We can vary the amount of pressure, which will affect the distance and the angle of the car. So we've got control over the power and the elevation. So there is some skill in this. Oh, yes.
Because we have such a motley collection of cars, we thought we'd start with 2 of roughly equal weight to get our eye in. The Vauxhall Astra and the Ford Orion. But who was to throw first?
1, 2, 3. But
That was fair. I didn't...
Now, I have no idea what I'm doing, so here goes nothing.
Are we ready? Yes! That's a 25.
Yeah, all right, 25. No, I'll grant you that. That's the
where the
coolest
loop went.
thing I've ever seen. Right, my go. I always liked that shape of Astra. My dad had one, I crashed it.
You're going to crash this one in a minute.
Big style. Fractionally up from there.
That is an overshoot, if ever I saw one.
Just look and learn. Oh, that's it.
10.
It's a 25.
That's a 10. It
That's
landed in a 10, easily.
James, that is more 25 than yours. The entire
No,
car
we said
is on
where the car lands. It landed in the... Look
No,
at
it didn't.
that.
That's where that... No, it didn't.
That landed in the 10.
This is
There's
where
the
bits
groove in the ground where the car
And
landed.
anyway, actually, no, the front would have been in the 25.
Rubbish. Here is where the Vauxhall badge
This is
fell
rather
off.
conveniently placed.
In the 10 circle. That's 10 points for
Fine.
you,
Yes,
making
okay.
me 15 in front.
Yes.
So I get to choose cars. A full 1,200 PSI, please. More elevation, about 40 degrees.
To make the bullseye a more exciting proposition, we've put a Caravan on it.
That Caravan, that is genius. Whoever thought of that addition?
It was me.
It's not a bad idea.
Fire!
That was rubbish. I mean, it was really good to watch, but it was just pathetic.
Maybe it's not as heavy as I thought.
Now, I've asked for 800.
I think you've overdone it.
Yeah, but there's
Honestly.
plenty of elevation. I don't know how.
Fire!
It's a 5.
I thought...
a 5. It's superb drama, but only a 5, I'm afraid.
I thought that was going in then. There. And I'm now on 15.
Yep. Strike through the...
All right.
Yep.
This is James's last car, and he is well in the lead.
OK, James.
Are you ready for
I'm
it?
braced.
Yes! Yes! Got to hit it.
No, it's got to hit it.
I have to admit that was a 5,
Still, it was a good one.
and that you were right.
Our final car is Hammond's Volvo. He's 15 points behind and needs either an inner or a bully to win. But the real prize would be the Caravan.
It's quite a happy coming together of Volvo
It's
and
kind of
Caravan,
apt,
but
isn't it,
not
if
in
it-
the way that we would expect.
Fire!
Yes!
have that.
Oh, yes. That was a good feeling. Volvo kills Caravan. 50 points. Final scores 30-65. But we are all winners because the Caravan bought it.
The clock is operating. We're underway.
It had no doors, no roof, no windscreen. It produced just 1 horsepower and it had a couple of garden chairs for seats. And yet, the lunar rover, or moon buggy, cost £25 million. And that was in 1971, when a V12 E-Type Jag cost less than £3,500. And in its short life, the moon buggy covered just 56 miles, which in Top Gear maths works out at about £500,000 per mile. Although they were all on the moon.
You are go.
The moon buggy was used in 3 space missions. And the short, bouncy journeys it made were about the most useful a car has ever undertaken. The moon buggy meant that the astronauts could explore more of the moon than they would have been able to on foot. And that meant they could take more pictures, collect more rocks, drill for more samples, and generally get a better understanding of where the universe may have come from. However, in 1972, the moon missions were scrapped, which means that for the last 39 years, the only moon buggy you'll have seen on Earth has been in a museum. Until now. Because, yes, it's back. This really is it. The Moon Buggy Mark II, a car for outer space. This is much more exciting than something like a Veyron SS or a Ferrari 458. Those are just Earth cars. And because I am the one who goes by the name of Captain Buzz Slow, NASA have said I can drive it. There we are flat out in the Lunar Rover Mark II. That's 10 miles an hour. The original Lunar Rover, that did 8 miles an hour until the astronauts got hold of it, and they managed to push that up to 11. So who knows, this could get into the teens. I can't believe I'm being allowed to do this. I'm alone in it. Well, almost alone. Since Moon Buggy Mark II cost $4.5 million, there was a car behind me containing some NASA heavies who could remotely shut it down if I did anything stupid. Absolutely fantastic control interface here. I've got this screen with touch buttons, loads of parameters I can fiddle with. Every single wheel is monitored, my heading, my direction, roll, pitch, yaw, all these things. If normal cars were as complicated as this, they'd be a lot more fun. Right, watch this for a really brilliant little Lunar Rover party trick. If I just push the joystick to the side, very slightly, there you can see that's not turning right, that's crabbing. How about that? What was that?
You're driving straight at a light pole.
Am I that close to it? Sorry. After an astronomical bollocking, I decided to concentrate on Moon Buggy pub trivia. This is the only vehicle of any type I've ever driven with 2 quoted weights, because here on Earth it weighs approximately 4 tons, but on the Moon, of course, the gravity is only about 1/6 of what we have here, so it weighs something like 760 kilograms. And they do have to think about that sort of thing. It will behave differently, and your senses will behave differently as well. The Moon Buggy has 12 wheels, powered by 6 motors, and they have a great party piece. Right, watch this. We are now crabbing exactly sideways. The Eagle has parked.
Sorry. Now, we have done a small amount of maths here. This is proper maths, not Top Gear maths, and we worked out that if every car in Britain could park like that and didn't have to leave a gap at each end, we'd save, wait for it, 10,000 miles of parking space.
But since there's not really a problem with parking on the moon, those wheels, combined with an adjustable ride height, are designed primarily to be amazing off-road.
Houston, we are go for rocks. Now you'll see when you're looking outside, each wheel set is working out where it's going and what it's doing, sort out the ride height, deal with the traction. It's extremely intelligent, it has extremely powerful computers.
The tyres themselves aren't quite so high-tech. They were chosen for their toughness and are from a crop sprayer.
Ha ha! Look at this. That's bags of torque. That's a 4-ton vehicle climbing up a 30-degree slope. What a climb! What a ride! It is absolutely brilliant, this thing. Sorry.
It's not just the moon buggy's off-road abilities that have moved on either.
Go for DOI. Both looking good.
The original lunar rover had a very limited range because if it broke down, the astronauts had to be able to make it back to the lunar module on foot. But this one is more of a cosmic camper van.
This is a space bed. There's another one that folds down here for your buddy. They're covered in memory foam, which was a NASA invention. There are privacy curtains here. There is an iPod dock. There's home cinema. Here is a space Jan. But sooner or later, you are going to get bored watching Apollo 13, and you might want to go for a walk outside.
And if you do, you have to exit through the rather unusual back door.
Here we go. My feet are entering the suit. My gentleman's area is compressed by the crotch of the space suit. I have my hands in the space suit. Leak check complete. Closing the hatch in the lunar rover. That's quite a giant leap for a very unsteady man. I would now like to perform a short tribute to the late Alan Shepard Jr., one of only 12 men to have walked on the moon, and the only man to have done this. Houston, the Eagle is going for a birdie.
There we go. Miles and miles and miles.
I'd like to be deadly serious for a moment. This is the most fabulous vehicle I've ever driven. Ever. But there is a problem with it. It's not a technical problem, it's the president. He's cancelled all the funding for the next moon mission. Because that's what makes the ship go up. No bucks, no Buck Rogers.
That means if you're a kid, you'll never have the thrill of getting up in the middle of the night, like I did, to watch the funny little car hooning about on the moon.
Man, that was all 4 wheels off the ground there. This is really some machine.
This piece of film I'm watching now shows men leaving the surface of the moon for the last time. That's the ascent stage of the Apollo 17 lunar module blasting off from the lunar surface. And that bit of film was captured with a remote camera mounted on the moon buggy, which means obviously that the moon buggy was left behind. And it does make me sort of sad really to think of that amazing car being left up there gathering moon dust for eternity.
But if you ask me, it's not half as sad as a moon buggy that will never go up there at all. Vlad the Impaler is back. Last year, the mighty Bugatti Veyron starred in our greatest Top Gear challenge ever, when it raced an aeroplane across the continent. In that film, Jeremy talked endlessly about the Veyron's ferocious power and its incredible top speed. But because he was on public roads, he had to stick to the speed limit.
But today, we're not going to talk about it. We're going to do it. We're going to take the fastest production car in the world up to its top speed.
That top speed is 253 miles per hour, much faster than a Formula One car. And when you think that the Veyron has airbags, air conditioning, a stereo, a boot, and all the other stuff F1 cars aren't burdened with, you realise what an incredible machine this is.
The Veyron is about pushing the outside of the envelope. It's about doing things that people said just were not possible. This car is a sort of Concorde moment.
Getting a car to do 155 miles per hour, frankly, isn't really very difficult. The Veyron needs just a piffling 270 horsepower to reach that speed. But 253? Crikey.
The faster you go, the more Mother Nature tries to hold you back. So to do the next 100 miles per hour, the 100 miles per hour that takes you up to 250, needs another 730 horsepower.
So what you end up with is a 16-cylinder engine with 4 turbochargers producing 1001 horsepower and a lot of heat.
That's why your car has 1 radiator and this car has 10. The engineers really were in uncharted territory with this car. Here's an example. When they wanted to sort out the high-speed aerodynamics, they went to the Sauber F1 team and they said, "Do you mind awfully if we use your wind tunnel?" And they said, "Terribly sorry, but we don't go up to those speeds."
In fact, cracking 253 miles per hour caused nightmare after nightmare. But Bugatti insist that this £850,000 car can do it. Mind you, actually testing their bold claim is a bit of a palaver. This is Ariel, Volkswagen's maximum security test track in Germany. When it was built during the Cold War, it was deliberately sited in a no-fly zone near the East German border in order to stop prying eyes from seeing secret prototypes. It has over 60 miles of private track, but the bit we're interested in is the main straight, which is a whopping 5.5 miles long.
Although it is technically a flat and level road, if you stand here, you can't actually see the other end. And that's because it's following the curvature of the Earth.
But even when you've sorted the venue, you can't just jump in the car and go.
This is Germany. There are procedures to go through. I like procedures.
You have to insert a special key into a slot by the door. And when you do, the diffuser flaps close, the rear spoiler retracts, and the whole car hunkers down to become as slippery as possible. The telemetry box we're using to record the speed measures in kilometers an hour, so the magic number we're looking for is 407.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. I'm approaching the banking at the top of the circuit. I have to do this at 200 kilometers an hour, that's about 120. Around the banking, look for my acceleration point, then give it the beans down the straight. Kilometers an hour, that's 120. Let's get the car settled. Fourth gear, 5,000 revs. I'm looking for the exit where I bury it.
climb from 200 to 300 kilometres an hour was over in just 9.4 seconds.
The world, viewers, is a total blur. I'm already doing 330 kilometres. It's going too quickly. I can't do the maths. Getting up to about 350. Captain Slow is doing 360 kilometres an hour. 370.
That's 230 miles per hour. I was now leaving F1 cars behind.
It's no wonder Michael Schumacher retired. He's slower than me. At these sort of speeds, this engine is sucking in as much air in a minute as I breathe in 4 days. Getting close to the maximum, which means the tyres will only last for about 50 minutes. But it's okay, because the fuel runs out in 12 minutes. This is a road car and I'm getting up to 404. 405, come on. Come on, give me one more. 406, come on, I need one more. I'm covering a football pitch every second. I'm pretty confident that's as fast as I'm ever going to go in a car. Incredible. That is... it's made my eyes water.
Today we'll be using this huge airfield as our playground.
We're staying pretty faithful to the game you know and love, but we've just gone a bit more ambitious.
Now, instead of string, we've got these huge cranes that we can hang stuff from and then swing it about with gay abandon.
All we need now is some conkers.
And here they are, 6 ripe beauties that fell from the old fiberglass chestnut tree.
And the rules are really child's play. First, we choose 3 conkers each. See, I was going to go for this Sprite Musketeer for one of mine.
Oh, look, a Monza!
This has got a galvanised chassis, which yours hasn't.
Sturdy stuff, that.
Now, in real conkers, the skill is in the choosing of your conker. You might have a 3er, but the other bloke could pull out a 9er.
And it's the same here today, but different. The skill is in the choice of caravan.
I, for example, have gone for this 1983 Eccles Amethyst 2-berth with flip-down sink, porta-potty and an all-up weight of 530 kilograms.
I've gone for this 4-berth Piper 415. At 700 kilos, it's a big one.
Unfortunately, health and safety have found out about our conker game and have stepped in with some precautions.
There you go, I now feel perfectly happy about being hit in the face by a caravan.
The conkers are a splendid 50 feet apart, and Richard will take first swing. Hammond is expecting victory with the much heavier Piper.
Right, here we go. Our first conker of the season. 3, 2, 1.
That's lovely.
Oh, no! No, it's mine!
Yes!
At first, it looked as though David had felled Goliath. But then, the 2-berth Amethyst crumbled.
Oh, I don't know. I've still got one wall left. Hang on, it's not over yet.
It's still conking. 1-0. James, we are grown men
Yes, I
playing
know.
conkers with caravans.
That's okay. It's better than working in a bank.
Round 2. It's my turn to swing, and Richard has gone for a Monza.
Against it, I'm going to pitch the Sprite Musketeer, 630 kilograms.
So 690 for the Monza, it's lighter. You've had it.
The Monza is weakened.
Victory!
Oh!
Oh, that's got it! Oh, my Monza! Yes, look!
Oh! Yes! Yes! That's magnificent! Right, I won that one.
So, as is the way in television, the scores are level as we go into the final round. It's James's turn to swing again, but I am noisily confident.
Let me just tell you what you're going up against here.
Yeah.
That's an Abbey GT, 754 kilos. It's the heaviest one we've had. It's got hot and cold running water, a separate bathroom. It's the most modern. It's a winner, you've had it.
I think I'm worried. One for all and all for one, mate.
James's musketeer is battered, but defiant.
3, 2, 1, die!
Oh, look, just give up.
Oh,
no! I'm sorry, mate, the musketeer bought the farm.
You are the winner of Caravan Conkers.
Yes! A lifelong ambition achieved. What do you mean we're going to rob a bank?
It's a great test. We rob a bank, okay, use our 3 cars as the getaway cars. The ones that get away from the police and onto the ferry and back to Corfu are good cars. If you're caught by the police and you spend the next 40 years in
You
jail...
got the wrong car and you know what to blame. The Bentley might suddenly come good.
No, it won't.
The next morning, we found a bank full of money and robbed it. Going for a stroll, look normal, look normal, look normal. Yep. Take the Merc, it's the quickest. Oh, God, Hammond! Hammond! There we are, completely normal.
Oh, Merc! Clarkson, right, rolls it is. Seatbelt safety.
You utter... What a pair of utter cars.
Where's the sign to surrender? I want surrender.
Oh, zebra crossing, not ideal. Take your time, chum, why not? I would.
Surrender. Surrender. This way. That's the first time ever in history someone escaping from a bank job has asked directions. Right, can we make it to the ferry to Corfu without being caught? Police, police! No, come on!
Hello.
Come on! Why did we rob a bank at rush hour, Hammond? Yeah.
Why didn't we just use a cash point like everyone else? Undercut. Yes!
Meanwhile, in the Mulsanne...
I can't see a bloody thing. Come on! Oh, crikey, it's the Albanian Rozzers. Ah, there.
Yeah. Really annoying me now, keeps dropping down. How do women wear tights?
Ooh, squeezing, squeezing. They're getting closer.
Eventually, the road began to open out.
Right, go, 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 go. Everything you've got, old roller, come on. Move!
Don't pull out. Do not. Struth! How a bank robber lives to be beyond 25 years old, I don't know, because it is stressy.
In a Bentley, it's very stressy.
The heat's all over me. Come on, Bentley.
Climbing, climbing. Here's popping.
Big drop.
Annoyingly, on the damp switchback road, Albania's 5.0 could keep up.
It rolls a bit more than the bird. God, it's like trying to escape in a bed. I might fall out.
It's got the power, but then you get to a corner, and this is a biggie. See, front's gone. Any curve, any dampness, and you... Whoa!
Mercifully, though, the road soon straightened out, which meant Hammond and I could absolutely fly.
Right, go, 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 go! Oh!
What a machine!
Yes, more like it. It's faster than I was expecting, this rolls.
It is genuinely jaw-dropping, this thing. But it feels so fast!
I think I just got air in a Rolls Royce. I think I did.
For James, though, things weren't going so well.
They're gaining. They're gaining. No! Ah! Catastrophic understeer.
Up front, Richard and I had left the Rozzers far behind.
The ferry is near now!
Good car, this. Not as good as my Merc, but a good car nonetheless.
This is the getaway car of the century. If you are a leading light in the Albanian mafia, look no further.
Eventually, we made it to the ferry terminal and could taste the freedom.
Go! Just go!
Hang on, shall we wait for James?
But James was in big trouble because the cars chasing us had stopped and formed a roadblock.
You'll never take me alive, copper. I'll see you in Spain, lads.
See you, James.
It probably didn't hurt much.
No, it didn't. So James May's dead.
Anyway,